Alright, hello everybody and welcome to another video. You may notice something different about this video, which is that we are not playing the English version. We're not even playing the phone version. We're actually playing the Steam version today with my JP account. That's right, I have it set up this way. I can effectively record both my JP account and my global account. So today is not going to be a super long video, but I'm just going to post my thoughts about new character. I'm going to talk a little bit about the event, and I'm going to talk just a little bit about saving for characters. So let's get into it. So first off, the event has started on JP. I don't think it started on global yet. I think it's still a few hours away, and I gotta say, this is the type of stuff I love. I love silly little weird things. Not necessarily too, like, I guess, I don't know, continuity breaking's not probably right here. But I love weird things like this where you are essentially getting cake. That's right, you are getting cake for your allies and whatnot and having a party. Like, that's so cool. And what a great way for the first little event. And it goes for a long time too. For people who are wondering, all right, am I going to be rushed down? Probably. You're probably going to have to do a good amount of stamina spending. Thankfully, stamina spending is what you want to do in this game and to rank up and whatnot. And if you're like me, I mean, the rewards are pretty good here for the time that you're going to put in. So let's talk off first the story, which is gated at certain points by certain dates. So you're not going to be able to complete it all at once. You're going to have to come back a few times, but that's kind of cool. It's fine to get a little bit of content bit by bit. This is not an instant gratification game. And for people who are wondering, this is where you'll be spending most of your time. Farming, you can spend up to like 20 stamina per run, 20 stamina per run on this, and get resources, the currency for this event, which is cakes. And the highest level, for people who are wondering, is level 50. So from me, my account's level 39, I didn't think that this was too difficult of a series of enemies. I was able to beat these enemies. I did lose 1 or 2 units because they do hit pretty hard, but it is quite possible to clear this where I currently am in the game, and probably you too. Something also to note, if you look at the rewards here, it's not necessarily just cake that you're getting for completing certain missions. You're also getting some canned goods to be able to sweep stages. You're getting a little bit of coins, and you're also getting these, which are kind of interesting because, well, it's a different type of currency. Probably it's part 2 of an event currency. But anyway, one other thing to note is that, like FFB and Votive, there are bonus characters that give certain percentages, and percentages do stack. So if you're a new account with not too many characters, you might not be getting too much in the way of bonus, in which case you might want to think about how you use your currency most effectively. But I think that there is a pretty good range of popular characters here. There's, of course, 2 account free characters for 40% right there. There's some lower tier characters that are giving 20% as well. So I think it's probably pretty easy, at the very least, well, 40% is the bare minimum, I think, but I think it's much easier to hit higher than that. And since most people were rolling for Gloria, that's a 50% bonus unit. Now, theoretically, if you were to get Edda and Gloria, well, that's 100% right there. And 3 other units, 160 is the best you can do here. And as a actual thing that you can look at, when you go into a map, you can see when you're picking your characters, those little stars on them, the purple and yellow star, which makes it really easy to figure out which characters are giving bonuses. So that's pretty cool. As for event currency and rewards, well, at least for the initial shop with 32 days left, there's quite a good bunch of stuff here, including really effectively a nice big pile that will disappear insanely fast of dust for only 1,500 cakes, which, so pretty good, I would say. For people who are looking to maybe on a little bit more of a budget because they don't have an incredibly high bonus. Of course, skill unlockers, incredibly important. Summons, incredibly important. And I would say legendary weapons for new accounts, as well as key ingredients such as dust would probably be the stuff that you really want to focus on for now. And, carrots and all of that. So plan ahead, think about what you want to do, but I'm pretty happy with this event. I think it's pretty fun, and the UI is great here. Had no problem figuring it out, and moving on. All right, so next thing, let's talk about summons, to which Edda is the first new debut banner past Convallaria. He will effectively be replacing it. Remember, if you are going to be pulling on her and potentially going all the way up to the 180 pity, I mean, here's the thing. If you spend resources, remember this, you don't get a debut character. This does roll over to future banners, so that's good news for anyone who might sink resources, that you can potentially save up resources and then get another debut character later. But Edda is pretty interesting in terms of a character. To me, she's like Inanna in that she is a very unique character. But I think that she does come at an inopportune time. So Wales, I'm not talking to you because you're just going to spend and get every character and get them all maxed right away, right? Thanks for keeping the game alive. For everybody else, for mid-tiers especially, I think that this is not the one to go on, and free-to-players, I think this is even less of the one to go on. Edda, by Taiwan current standards, is still really, really good, but like most I think all characters in this game, unless there's one that I have forgotten about, he will go into the permanent pool once her debut banner is done, meaning that over time, you'll get this character no matter what, because that's essentially just how it goes. Probability of time going on future banners for future characters, it's just completely possible. So there are two accounts that I think, besides the obvious people who are just like, she's cute, I like her gimmick, her special thing, I'm just going to get her. For you, this video and this segment is not for you. I think that the only real two that are two types of accounts that are really looking to get this character right away are, one, barrel users who barrel is essentially been carrying you through the game, but maybe her DPS needs a little bit of a boost. And yeah, barrel is incredibly strong, and this is a character that can push her DPS even higher. But it would require a fair amount of resources from you to get this character right now. And given that you essentially are kind of just, are you rushing? Are you just rushing? You shouldn't be. This might not be the one to go on given the incredibly high importance banners coming up in the near future. So yes, for one, barrel users probably going to be strongly tempted to get this character, as she synergizes really well with barrel. The other one that I think is really important to consider is Nungle people. So for barrel, I think at this point is pretty well known. For people who don't know Nungle, Nungle is essentially a really strong range character. You can effectively wipe bosses and elite enemies off the face of the earth. He's insanely good on maps where enemies are coming towards you and you're essentially trying to defend something. Because once she enters sniper mode, her DPS goes up. It's very, very powerful. She hits critical. It can be upwards of 4,000 to 6,000 from where I currently am, from what I've seen. And that's without even perfectly optimized equipment or, getting her up to 3 stars yet. Someday. But anyway, Nungle is one of the characters who really incredibly benefits well from Edda. Since Edda can drop a box on the map, giving her Nungle or herself height advantages over enemies, which does up both of their DPSs, it's essentially really good for Nungle. It can also affect enemies' defense capabilities, which means that DPS goes up. Be happy. Yeah, so basically Nungle and Beryl are two of the characters who really benefit from this, but that's not to sell Edda short. Edda is insanely cool for being able to drop a box, potentially pick up a box with one of her skills, and then throw the box at the opponent. That's just cool, and there are plenty of objects on maps that she can potentially leverage for her own DPS. Her DPS isn't necessarily a slouch, but she can also support allies with buffs, such as this one, which is just, a really nice overall buff that also gets rid of some debuff capabilities, so that's really, really good. You can boost her own defense by being around an item. That's really cool. And she's pretty straightforward to build from what I've been noticing from different places. Where I'm currently at right now, this is essentially how you want to build her, with going then right, I believe. This is the next one, and then left for her final option. With the only potential place where you want to spend these incredibly rare resources is right here, to unlock her item throw, because it can be really good. But it's up to you, essentially. So yeah, I feel like she's generally pretty straightforward in terms of equipment. I mean, you can use the True Lens, but you can use even this is considered to be one of her better equipments because of the debuffs that she can throw onto opponents. Really quickly, just talking about turrets, I believe that like Tower for DPS, Wheel of Fortune for general buffs, for the world. So basically, I lost my train of thought. If you don't need to dispel buffs, then you can shave a turn off of energy and D rotation, which is kind of important since some of her abilities do have a fairly high cooldown for low energy costs, but it's essentially nice to make her more consistent with supporting people. She's a support for basically just everyone. She can buff a ton of characters, and that's always really, really good. For legendary bow equipment, and go with this for your general newish account looking to just give her anything. This I think is second best, and this is the one that I believe is just her top choice for equipment, because it does up her damage. And interestingly, like, her damage, not as good as potentially Beryl or Nungle, at least from where I currently am. Maybe it just gets insane further down, but I haven't got there yet, so I'm not going to comment on it. But from a where I am RK7 perspective, her DPS is generally pretty strong. But one other thing that I really, really like about her is if she is in close proximity to another ally who attacks, he will also launch a follow-up attack, allowing you to stack even more damage on your opponent. It's pretty cool. I like these. I've seen a lot of these in WOTF recently, and they've been really, really strong. So yes, Edda I think is really, really cool. She is a character that I am so excited to use in different ways, because you can use this to, like, this box. You can even just use this to block opponents and combine with another character to pick up and just chuck. That's a ton of fun to me. I think this is a really fun, interesting character, very unique, still very good, but this is the end point of this video. And the ultimate key point. I think that when this, no matter how cool this character is, he will probably show up eventually for you. And if you're mid-tier, very limited on resources, and interested in the strongest characters, the 3 upcoming banners after the next character, which is the Ice Knight, who I can't remember her name, but if you see Ice Knight, that's who I'm talking about after her. Safi, August, and last but not least, Cocoa are all coming in very, very short proximity based on projections and faster timelines than Taiwan. And all three of those characters are tier 0 characters, which are way more important in terms of account building and general focus. How much so? That's up to you. So I've spoken my piece. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching. Here, see you later.